Okay, so I debated making this because this is kind of unusual for me to share with you guys, but every week I make what I call a brain bowl, and I've been making this for probably over a year, and it's helped a lot of people in my family. This whole concept of the brain bowl came from my brother who has early onset dementia, and I was like, I want to study what are the top ingredients that can fight or stave off cognitive decline disorders like dementia, Lewy body's disease, and others. And so I've been making this because if your brain functions at the highest level, then everything else from there, whether it's the release of hormones or recall or mood, everything else has a better chance of being in a better place. And so that's what led me to create this. I have adapted it over time. It's always adapting. I'm always researching new ingredients and figuring out what things fit better. And then also for my general health goals, protein levels, carbohydrates, and I'm always looking at those things as well. So this is the list of ingredients. I put this together just about every week. Some of these things are actually new for this video. So like maca, boab, and alma. Some of these are new, but I'll run through each one. So the core of it is chia seeds. These happen to be white, but I generally use black, a couple tablespoons of black chia. I use ground flax meal as well, organic. And then a big thing that I use a lot, I don't know why this is so controversial, but creatine. It's well studied in cognitive enhancement, so I use that quite a bit. And then for me, because I go to the gym probably 5 days a week or so, protein, getting in the protein requirement is really important to me. And so I do use whey. I'll use a grass-fed source of whey. And then I'll also use some kind of egg white protein. I wish they had full egg with like the yolk, but egg white protein. And then I also put some fiber in, could be psyllium husk, which is really good at pulling heavy metals and different things out of the intestinal tract. And then depending on what I'm doing, I kind of do different flavors each week. So if I do a green one or a red one, brain bowl that is, I'll use matcha, or I might use organic beetroot powder. I always put in turmeric, and yeah, I also put in collagen peptides, again grass-fed or organic if you can find them. And yeah, this is my list of stuff. Obviously I just rolled out of bed and this would be my normal routine for like getting this done. So yeah, so I might just film and then record the process of making it and show you guys what it looks like at the end. You could also use this. So this or this. I like this because it's a blend. It has like psyllium husk and inulin fiber and acacia. I go crazy if I don't clean up while I'm making stuff. I can't have my work surface be like a total train wreck. So what else should I mention? There are some refrigerated ingredients that I use. I didn't mention these and I should have. So I use kefir, organic kefir. I wish I could get grass-fed, but this I like because it's fermented at a lower temperature and over a longer period of time than typical yogurt, it'll tend to have more and more diverse sets of probiotics, at least from my understanding. And so I use that pretty exclusively. It's also easier to mix than when I was using Greek yogurt. And then I also use organic coconut. I do like the unsweetened vanilla. In my mind, the MCT oils, which are linked to a lot of cognitive studies, yes, they're in really small amounts in here, and probably MCT8, which is the most studied, is in probably really small amounts, but I like to think that this does something as well. And it also just makes it taste a little better. So that is it for grass-fed whey. You can do different flavors of this. I would prefer unflavored, but this particular one, it was less expensive to get vanilla bean, and so that's what I got this time around. I did 3 tablespoons of that. Cool. So 2 tablespoons of egg white protein. And then these I like too, so in addition to the chia, which has a lot of omega-3 and a decent amount of protein and fiber, this is probably one of the core ingredients that I've always had since the beginning, and that's hemp hearts. These obviously have omega-3, fiber, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So I do a tablespoon of these, sometimes 2. I think this week I'm just gonna do a little bit of everything and see how it comes out. Like I said, typically I'll do reds with reds, so something like this mangosteen with the beetroot powder and like, maki berry. I would probably do those together, and then I would do moringa and matcha and all that stuff like on its own. So this week I'm gonna put them all together and see how it comes out. It's probably gonna be a hideous color, but we'll see. So I just do 1 serving of matcha. For this, I'm using non-ceremonial grade just because it's a lot less expensive, but it is organic. And generally I would use spirulina, but I'm probably not gonna use that today because I'm kind of running out of space in there. So I love maki. Maki berry is so interesting. It's like one of the highest antioxidant things out there, and it's just really interesting looking. I don't know if it'll focus on this, but it's a wild looking powder. It looks like acai. And this is only the base. There's also a set of toppings that I will put on as well, and that will include things like pumpkin seeds. It could include more hemp hearts, and fruit, like whatever fruit. Obviously berries are really studied in terms of cognitive disorders, so I'll get organic blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, and I'll usually put those in as well on the top. And then some kind of a nut butter for additional protein, and also because it tastes good, let's be honest. Indian gooseberry. It's my first time using it. It kind of smells like kava, the Pacific Island root. Sort of like that. So hopefully it doesn't taste like that because those are foul. Camu berry is interesting because, and by the way, a lot of these are newer. Like, this is my first time using this, and it's the same for alma. And so, like, those couple ingredients, because they're newer for me, and a lot of them aid in digestion, I will be careful, like, how much I put in. I'm not going to put a ton in. So, camu is cool because it's like one of the highest in vitamin C, if not the highest substance. So instead of taking vitamin C as a supplement, you could just have the whole food. So this is cool. So for collagen peptides, I used to do like a whole tablespoon, but because I have it later in the day in the form of a protein shake, I will just do a half a tablespoon. There's a lot of benefits to this. Obviously, hair and nails is one of them, which is annoying because they'll start to grow really fast. The other benefit to this is, my understanding is, for people that have leaky gut and gut-related issues, this can help repair that single cellular lining of the gut by filling in some of the lining of that. That's my understanding. I've seen a lot of research on it for other things as well, and so I use this. There's also studies with regard to muscle gain. So collagen peptides are not a complete protein, meaning like I don't think they in and of themselves create muscle, but what happens is, in the studies that I've seen, they can aid in gaining muscle because they attach the muscle to the bone. And so whatever the process is that attaches muscle to the bone when you're going through that repair cycle, they noticed in studies where recipients were taking collagen that they had more gains presumably because they're reattaching better, or there's some kind of muscle protein synthesis is optimized. So I use this and I think it's great. so that was Boab. Again, just a tiny bit of that because it's newer for this round. A classic standby. I've had this since day one. Turmeric it's been studied for brain health for so long, and so I add that in. I think there's also been studies with regard to insulin and blood sugar, if I'm not mistaken, so a lot of these have been studied for blood sugar and have enhancements in that arena, and so I use this as well. Just 1 teaspoon. So beetroot powder is awesome for heart health, blood flow, because it's high in nitrates, I don't know how you say it, but basically the essential thing that's in nitroglycerin. So if you were to have a stroke or heart attack, this can, I believe it dilates the blood vessels and allows for better blood flow, and so I take this quite often. It's also nice because it lightly sweetens things, and it gives things that nice red color too. So, organic beetroot powder. Okay, so mind the wires and the mess here. I'm using my wired mic, but this is what it will look like before I go ahead and mix everything together and then add in the kefir and the coconut oil. And again, this is just finishing the base. One thing I can all but guarantee you is that your hands will get tired of mixing. And so I try to homogenize a little bit with a fork or a spoon, and then I'll go ahead and I'll shake it the rest of the way to completely mix everything up. Okay, at this point I'm ready to add our kefir. Now kefir is cool. Again, it's a live thing, so I used to put honey in this. You could end up making time bombs if you do that because it will ferment, and the kefir will ferment the honey. The bacteria in the kefir the probiotics will chew on the honey and they'll eat it and start to expand and create gas, and so that wasn't great. So now I don't use honey. I might use it as a topper, but I don't use it in the base. And then a little bit of water and a little bit of coconut milk. Now, there are definitely drawbacks. I mean, this takes a while. It probably takes me an hour to do this each week. And this particular one is not going to be winning any beauty contests, that's for sure. Typically, these are red or they're green. They're not usually this brown. I probably shouldn't have tried new ingredients to record this video, but now there's at least a week of these that I have. And so that's my lunch meal prep for the week done. Okay, so that's it. There's definitely drawbacks. These are expensive. They're time consuming to make, but if you want to level up your brain game, they're awesome. They've really helped me. They've helped a bunch of people in my family that were having, whether it's digestive issues or cognitive issues, it's helped a lot of people, and everyone will kind of take and modify them in a way that suits them the best. So not everyone is putting in every ingredient. Some people, color really matters, texture really matters, so they'll add something in like butterfly PT, which is purplish blue, or they'll add in blue spirulina and make them blue, and then they can have them for their kids and they're more appealing. They take at least 2 hours to set up. The ones that I have, like you guys saw, I made, I'll use them for a week. So the longest that I've ever had them jarred up, sealed, is like 6-7 days. And they've been fine in that time. And so, yeah, I will end the video on what they look like when they're done. Again, you guys can top them however you want. I'll show you how I put toppings on them. I'll use things like, you could use honey, you could use bee pollen granules, I always use pumpkin seeds, another good source of protein, also attract to cognitive health. And you could use Brazil nuts or, some kind of nut butter as well, and then a couple of fresh berries. So if you guys decide to try this, I doubt any of you will. Let me know in the comments, but I'm curious to see if you guys do try them, what kind of benefits you see. Do you notice a difference in your cognitive ability? Do you notice a difference in maybe you're having gastric issues? Maybe you have leaky gut. I'm curious to see how this works for you. I'll see you in the next one.